Hi and welcome to another Alpha Audio video. Well, the surroundings are a bit different. I'm at home at the moment. Two reasons for that. I'm needed at home at the moment, so I'm sorry about the surroundings and the quality of the video. It's different than from the studio at Alpha Audio, but yeah, that's how it goes. And it's holiday time here, so I need my time off, especially after rebuilding the listening room. It's been quite a task, to be honest, but it's finished now, and I think it's quite nice. Acoustics are better, and it looks better. So I hope in future videos that you will be able to see the listening room a bit more. We do some sampling over there, and we do some live streaming over there, apart from the Artone studios, of course. But, well, enough about that. Although it's holiday time in the Netherlands, I couldn't resist doing another test, and I'm sorry, it's quite nerdy. We tested network connectors, and we did phase 1 in this test. We tested how well they install. So not reproduction quality or sound quality, or whatever you call it. We just tested how they install, and of course, in relation to the price, there is a big difference in these cables now. We have tested connectors that are 150 or 2 euros a piece, 150 or 2 euros a piece, and we tested some that are 30 euros a piece. And well, of course, there should be a big difference in how well they install and how easy they install and how reliably they install, but yeah, you will be surprised. First of all, we tested two normal connectors. CAT 8.1, this is a CAT 7 cable, double shielded and all stuff that matters. Some people ask why we didn't use AudioQuest on Facebook. Well, this is a lot cheaper, and I think it's good enough for the test. So, a gold-plated one and a normal one, and of course they install exactly the same. These are the types that use a small cable guide. You put in the cable in the right order, and you put the cable guide in the connector, and then you press with a special piece of equipment. It works. It's not the easiest plug to install, but it works, and it works fairly well. I mean, I used 4 connectors to make 2 cables. I didn't waste one connector, and it all just worked out. So this is cheap and reliable. But you do need some equipment. And oh, by the way, we test all the cables with a cable test to see if they work. Otherwise, we wouldn't know. You need a piece of equipment. So initially, it's a bit more expensive, I think, because you need to buy one of these if you don't have one. But in the end, it's a lot cheaper than using expensive connectors. Let's get on to the next one. Yeah, let's start off with 2 of the worst connectors in this test, then we get that out of the way. This is the TE connectivity, and it's really expensive. It's 31 euros a piece, and it's not bad, but we couldn't get it connected the right way. And we tried 3 times. And you have to imagine that these connectors you can reuse them in some ways, but they're very fragile. So you need to be very, very careful. And we tried 3 times, and I think we put in 30 minutes of install time in this connector. We couldn't get it to work. I don't know if this was the one we called the plug from hell during the taping of the install video, but it's just really, really hard, and in the end it didn't work. So, and all the others did work, by the way. So this is definitely not the one you want. Expensive and not really advisable to buy. Then the other one that we couldn't get to work, and that's the last one. The others worked flawlessly. Oh well. This is the Phoenix Connect, and we tried another plug on the other end to see if that's the issue, but it wasn't. 26 euros a piece, I think, and yeah, it just didn't work out. It was really hard to get it on even. And in the end, we had all sorts of issues with short circuits in the grounding, and yeah, I don't know. 26 euros. It's expensive. It is well built, just like the TE connectivity. It was impressive how well built it was. It's full metal and all stuff like that. But yeah, we don't care if it doesn't work. You know, it's a lot of money and it should work, and it didn't. So that's two of the most expensive connectors that just failed in our test. Then one of the big surprises is the Hirshmann, and it's 9 euros per pair. It's really cheap, at least in the Netherlands. It says CAT6a on the plug, but it works on CAT7 as you can see, and it works on CAT8.1 as well, because these plugs are mostly the same and use the same install principle. And the other ones are all CAT8.1 certified. So it's mostly the cable width, I think, the cable strand width, that is the determining factor whether it will work or not. But these use a small cable guide to say where the cables need to go, that you need to attach, and then the small cable guide you press in the plug, and then you close the plug and it works. It's foolproof, it's bulletproof, it works really well. And we'll put in some pictures in the video to show you what I mean. It's hard for me to say it in English. In Dutch it's really a lot easier for me to explain how it works, but I'll do my best. So these are one of the cheapest and they work really well. So this is definitely one we can approve for home use. Then we have the Delock, and the Delock is a CAT 8.1 certified, and it's actually the same principle as the Hirshmann. But this is a little bit more robust, I think, the plug itself. It uses full metal. I think the cable guide is a bit better, although it's the same principle. It works a little bit more easy, but these plugs are 15 euros each, so it's almost twice as expensive. And I don't think that is justified, to be honest, because we get another contender that is 7 euro each, and those are almost the same as this one. So we do have a good feeling with Delock. I mean, it's a good brand. We use the fiber converters from Delock and they work flawlessly and they sound really well, I think. With a good power supply, it's a big improvement over normal switches and normal cables. But in this case, I think Delock is a little bit too expensive to justify the difference. It's only the cable guide that works a little bit better, because the other plug, the Helos, has almost the same kit, and they even give you a cable, how do you say it, the krimpkous, I don't know the English word for it, to tie the cable in the plug. They have a cornered one, and that's a big advantage. I mean, sometimes you just need a cable that goes like this, and it's possible with the Helos, and it's not possible with the Delock. So yeah, it's a good plug and it works really well. And I mean, we used two of them and it worked out of the box. It measured well, but it's a little bit too expensive, I think. So that's the Delock. Then we get to the Telegärtner. Of course, we couldn't not test the Telegärtner. I mean, this is the industry standard. It's one of the high-end plugs that high-end brands use on their high-end cables, and for good reason, to be honest. I mean, it's really well built. It looks fabulous. I mean, look at it. It's full metal. It's well built. It feels really robust, but not that much better than the Delock and the Helos, to be honest. But the system is a little bit different. Telegärtner uses their own system, and it's a small PCB with cable guides on top and on the bottom. And you need to put in the right cables, so you make the right connection, and then you press it together, and then you put it in the casing. That works, and it worked this time. It worked flawlessly this time, honestly. But in our experience is that it sometimes just doesn't work. And we had some fights with Telegärtner plugs to get them working. And this time it worked. Maybe they improved their quality, and maybe we got we got better at it. That's also possible. Or the cable is better. But I think 23 euros each is expensive. Especially if I look at the other cables we tested, these are not that much better. And these are not that much more easy to install. To be fair, the other system with the small cable guide that you press in the plug is easier than this. And more reliable than this. I mean, we installed a lot of Telegärtners, and we also threw away quite some Telegärtners because reuse them is not an option. It's just not reliable, and our experience is that if it fails, just throw them away, because if you get it working and you pull it in and pull it out a couple of times, it just fails. That's not the way to go. These will work because they installed fine. I think they're quite expensive, and they look well, and they're very tight on the cable. That's all fabulous. But there are other options that are much more cheap, that are cheaper and not worse. I think they're equal. So to get to those better options, this is one we didn't know about. Oh, the TA connectivity and the Phoenix Connect we didn't know either. This is the Metz Connect, and it surprised us because it's a very nice looking plug, I think. Well, yeah, that's of course completely subjective, but I think it looks good. It installs very easily, and they're very light, and I like that because you don't want a heavy connector on a cable in your streamer or in your laptop, because all that weight will wear down the Ethernet port. And with these connectors, they're very light and they go in and out very easily. You won't wear out the Ethernet port, and that's something not a lot of people think about. But if you have your expensive streamer and this cable is on the back in the Ethernet port, and it wears down the port every day, in the end you will get play on the Ethernet port and you will get connection issues. So, and with this Metz Connect, I think it's the right balance. It's full metal, it feels right, it clicks in very decently, and it's not that heavy. And it's only 10 euros each. So that's a good price for a good connector. Then we have the Helos, and the Helos is one of the brands we didn't know. We didn't know half of them, to be honest. Helos is the same kind of plug as the Hirshmann and the Delock, and yeah, it works. It's a very simple system to install. You have the cable guide, you press it on the plug, tighten it, close the casing, and that's it. And the cool thing about the Helos is it also has the cable shielding sticker. And I think it's a good detail to have this in, because these cables have double shielding. And in order to keep it together and not make a short circuit, for example, you want it to tighten it and then keep it there. And with this sticker you make connection to the shielding and keep it together, and you don't need to pay attention to it because it's well tightened with a sticker. And I think it's a very nice detail, and only the Delock and the Helos had a sticker like that. I think all should do that. it makes installing a connector so much more easy. So that's very cool. And they're very cheap. They're €7 each. I think that's a very, very good deal. I mean, look at it. It's full metal. It looks good. It goes in and out very easily with with a decent system. I don't know. It's just good. So what can we conclude? I think 2 of them failed miserably, and those are the TE connectivity and the Phoenix Connect. Is it our own mistake? Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a network hardware engineer or electrician or whatever, but I've had my share of installing connectors in normal connectors, Telegärtner connectors, and now with systems like this, like the Hirshmann and the Helos and the Delock, and they all went well. I never had big issues with installing connectors, except for some Telegärtners that just didn't want to connect. And it could be the cable. This is not a cable than we used in the past. But all connectors work well on this cable, except for the TE connectivity and the Phoenix Connect. We just couldn't get them installed right. And with 26 and 30 euros each, those were the most expensive connectors in this test. So don't buy them if you're a home user and are new to this kind of thing. If you're a professional installer and you know those and you can tell us what we did wrong, fine. Please tell us. We want to learn every day. With that out of the way, what connector could you buy? What is a good bargain? I think the Hirshmann is a good bargain. It's reasonably cheap with €9 a pair. They look well, they install easily, and you don't need special equipment. If you want the best deal, of course you can buy one of these and install regular plugs. I mean, everyone can do that. They're very cheap. We had some decent ones for €2 and 160 each. That is cheap. But you need one of those. So in the end, it will be a little bit more expensive, I think. And if you just want to make 1 or 2 cables, just buy the Hirschmanns and you're set. The Hirschmanns are one of the best deals you can make if you want a field connector. That's what these are called. These are called field connectors. You don't need special equipment for that. After the Hirschmann, I think the Metz Connect is the second best with €10 each. And these are very light. And the system is also pretty foolproof. It needs a little bit more attention than the Hirschmann, but if you have the time and you have the patience, these are also very easy to install, and these plugs are a little bit more light, so they won't wear your Ethernet port down in the end, in the long run. Then, of course, the Helos are a pretty good deal, and they're slightly more robust to my feeling than the Hirschmanns. And I don't know, the way of tightening it down on the cable itself is a little bit more sophisticated. With the Hirschmann, you have a tie wrap around, and with this, you just tighten it down with a ring. And I think that's just that tiny detail that makes it a little bit better than the Hirschmann, but that's just a feeling. And of course a tie wrap will do, and that makes this €9 a pair and this one €7 each. So that's the difference. All the rest, I mean, Telegärtner, yes, it's beautiful, it's well done. It's not as bomb-proof and foolproof as the other systems, but they look absolutely amazing. But they're very expensive, and I don't think it's worth the price difference. So, in the second part, we will listen to them. I don't think there will be a lot of difference, to be honest. I mean, they're all the same. And it's a different technique than an analog interlink. So connectors won't make a sound difference, in my opinion. But we will listen to them anyway. So there will be a second part in this video. And I hope you like part 1. And if you want to support this kind of work, we have a Patreon page. you can support us and we can do more tests like these, because we bought them all ourselves and they're not cheap, as you could probably understand right now. And you can support us with Patreon. Thank you for watching and see you next time.